Alright, hi guys. Thanks for watching this video. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do another movie review. I haven't done too many movie reviews, but I'm going to do another one. And when I do movie reviews, I like to do movie reviews on movies that are good, but not really too well known. Movies that are pretty obscure. And I definitely have one I'm going to do right now that I think is a good movie, if not great movie, and yet it's very obscure. Most people haven't heard of it, and that's the 1980 slasher movie, or slasher/thriller film, Fade to Black. Now, Fade to Black, and I remember when it came out in the early 80s, because I used to see it like on, commercials and that, and it was actually a commercial for like an early form of cable called Spectravision. They used to show like a scene from Fade to Black in the movie. Fade to Black, kind of an interesting film, a kind of a unique sort of twist on the slasher film. It's not your typical kind of slasher film. In fact, it kind of reminded me a lot, if you've ever seen it, of the 1970s Vincent Price horror film called Theater of Blood. It's kind of like that. This movie, it stars Dennis Christopher, and Dennis Christopher was in a movie a year before this called Breaking Away. And Breaking Away, a lot of people have probably seen. It's a more well-known movie about bike racing. In that movie, the kid's actually obsessed with like all things Italy and bikes and all that. Well, in this movie, the Dennis Christopher character is obsessed with movies. He's what you'd call a cinephile. Just completely obsessed with movies. Will go around and quote films. And, when people kind of like will quote films and throw out like a lot of trivia, the people around him, kind of tend to get kind of annoyed by that. Trust me, I know. But yeah, they tend to get kind of annoyed with this. He goes around talking about, movies, and he works at like a film distribution center. And the characters kind of, and one of the characters is played by Mickey Rourke. I should mention that. And the Mickey Rourke character kind of, I wouldn't say he bullies him, but he kind of like, sort of like makes fun of him, kind of like that thing some people kind of do out of boredom. When you work someplace, he kind of like does that kind of stuff where it's kind of like sort of makes fun, but not really too bad. But then as time goes on, because the Dennis Christopher character, although kind of a geeky guy, also actually somewhat of a stand-up guy at the same time, and, doesn't take any of the Mickey Rourke character's crap, But what eventually happens is the character, and I should mention this, he lives with his aunt, although later on you find out it's actually his mom, but his mom says that she's his aunt because she didn't want her dance career to end when she was like trying to be a famous dancer. And now she had some injury and she's in a wheelchair, and she's not all there, she's kind of abusive and criticizes him a lot, and the character continues to fall deeper and deeper into this world of movies, kind of an escapist kind of thing. He falls deeper and deeper, in love with these movies. And, they're the classic era of Hollywood kind of movies. And eventually he also forms an obsession with this girl that he sees who kind of, they say, resembles Marilyn Monroe. I actually think, she, resembles Deborah Harry a bit more, but he forms this, like, obsession with this woman. And, eventually what happens is this character starts becoming kind of more and more insane. And starts impersonating the characters from the movies, and then later on starts killing people as these movie characters. He tracks down the Mickey Rourke character and ends up shooting, and not Mickey Rourke, I think, but his friend as Hopalong Cassidy, or he's dressed as Hopalong Cassidy. Then he also, kills his mom, and imitates a scene, I don't know, from some old, gangster movie where, some gangster pushed a wheelchair down the stairs. Well, he does the same thing. Then there's another scene where he dresses as Dracula and he chases this woman that, made fun of him and criticized him, and she falls on a fence, and, she's bleeding, so, like Dracula, he drinks her blood, but it's more disturbing than that. Then, he's killing all these characters as movie people. Then there's some producer who steals a film idea he has. And, he knows the producer stole this film idea. So he goes to where the producer's having some kind of press conference, and he's dressed up as like a 1930s gangster with a, Thompson submachine gun, and he ends up gunning the guy down. So stuff like that happens throughout the whole movie. People kind of think he's, becoming more and more insane, and then the cops are after him, and, there's a detective and some kind of psychologist or psychoanalyst is kind of trying to get after him as well. And so, you have that, and then finally there's kind of a showdown on a building at the end where he's blurting out all these movie quotes, and he ends up getting gunned down, and that's the end of the film. So all in all, this is an interesting film and definitely worth checking out. It's a unique kind of spin on the whole slasher genre of film. It did come out, and this is why I think the movie's actually not that popular. It came out kind of during the slasher boom of the early 80s, where they were coming out with a lot of movies. Friday the 13th, Prom Night, was it Night Train or Night Train Murders, that one, or The Maniac. There were several others, that were coming out at around that time. And I think as a result of that, this film kind of got buried. But, definitely worth checking out. It's kind of a unique film. So, yeah, that's it for my film review. Like I said, I like doing these film reviews because I do think there's a lot of interesting movies out there that people have not seen that are kind of, forgotten and kind of buried. So, it's why I kind of like doing these reviews, to kind of give these forgotten gems some of the attention they deserve. So, that's all I have for now. Again, I thank you for watching.